Hey everyone, thanks for clicking. In this video, I'm going to be showing you why, if you're a Runescape 3 player and you haven't already, you need to buy a Brooch of the Gods now. In my opinion, the Brooch of the Gods is the most powerful skilling upgrade that you can get in the game. To understand why I believe this item is worthwhile, let's talk a bit about what the Brooch of the Gods is and what it does. The Brooch of the Gods is an alchemical Hydrix item, made first by crafting an alchemical Hydrix brooch using 5 Elder Rune bars, 5 golden leaves, and 1 alchemical Hydrix, and then enchanting the alchemical Hydrix brooch with a level 6 enchantment. The brooch costs approximately 150 million GP at the time of writing the script if bought from the Grand Exchange. The brooch has 3 main effects. Number 1. The brooch can store 1,000 of each type of urn, as well as 1,000 of each type of effigy. If you haven't used these items before, what they essentially do is increase your experience gained in a skill by providing chunks of experience per urn or effigy filled, which happens passively as you gain experience in a respective skill. Number 2. The brooch makes portable skill station effects twice as likely to occur. If you haven't used a portable skill station before, these are items which can be placed where, when used, various buffs and bonuses are applied to the skill being trained. Skills that have portable skilling stations include firemaking, crafting, fletching, cooking, herb lore, smithing, and construction. Number 3. Divine Blessings will appear while training non-combat skills. The Divine Blessings provide invention components, giving 4 uncommon or rare components for each blessing captured. The effect that I want to focus on, and the one that I believe gives the brooch almost all of its worth, is effect number 2. Effects number 1 and number 3 are useful, and definitely provide quality of life to your gameplay experience, but effect number 2 fundamentally changes your gameplay experience. Let's look at effect number 2 in more detail. As stated, this effect doubles the rate at which portable skilling station effects occur. In this video, I will focus solely on the portable skilling stations for crafting, fletching, cooking, and herb lore. To use these stations, you can buy them on your own from the Grand Exchange, or hop to World 84, where the portable skilling stations are hosted, typically either at Fort 4 and 3, or at the Combat Academy in Lumbridge. The crafting portable provides the following buffs. The player receives a 10% experience boost, has a 10% chance to save 1 hide or clay per item produced, and a 5% chance to save a gem when cutting it. The fletching portable provides the following buffs. The player receives a 10% experience boost, has a 10% chance to save logs when fletching bows, a 10% chance to save arrowheads and headless arrows when making arrows, a 10% chance to save unfinished bolts and feathers when making bolts, a 10% chance to save unfinished darts and feathers when making darts, a 10% chance to save Dinarrows and Elder God Anima when making god arrows, a 10% chance to save bolts when adding tips, a 10% chance to string 2 bows or crossbows at once, and a 10% chance to make 2 unstrung crossbows at once. The cooking portable provides the following buffs. The player receives a 21% experience boost, and has a 5% chance to double cooked food. The herb lore portable provides the following buffs. The player receives a 10% experience boost, and has a 5% chance to double a produced potion. What the Brooch of the Gods does is double all of the non-experience boosting effects from portables. So, all 5% chances become 10% chances, and all 10% chances become 20% chances. This might seem like a good boost, but is it a boost worth the 150 million GP cost of the item? Let's look now at why this boost is so effective. All of the skills that benefit from the boost to portable skilling station effects are artisan skills. These skills require turning a raw material into a produced material. You could harvest all of the raw materials yourself, but this turns out to be quite slow, especially if you want to train one artisan skill a lot at one time. So, most people tend to purchase the raw materials and sell the finished products. For the skills being focused on today, this might look like transforming a raw blue blubber jellyfish into a cooked jellyfish, or turning headless arrows and arrowheads into finished arrows, or turning an unfinished potion plus a secondary ingredient into a finished potion, or turning royal dragon leather into royal dragonhide bodies. Now, if the sale price of the finished product is less than the cost of the raw materials, the method loses the player GP. and if the sale price of the finished product is more than the cost of the raw materials, the player gains GP. Typically, but not always, faster experienced methods lose the player GP, whereas slower experienced methods gain the player GP. What the effect of the portable skilling stations do, which are amplified by the Brooch of the Gods, is allow the player to produce more finished product per raw material used. If this change in produced items is large enough, it can turn fast experienced methods of training from losing GP to gaining GP. Of course, because we are oftentimes producing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of items while training artisan skills, small shifts from loss to profit per item produced can manifest in huge GP gains for the player. What would this look like in practice? Consider, as a first example, making Saradomin Brews as a training method for Herblore. The raw materials required for making Saradomin Brews are 1 Toadflax potion unfinished, plus 1 crushed bird's nest. The output from using these 2 items is 1 finished Saradomin Brew. I just went to the Grand Exchange and checked all of the instant buy and sell prices for these items. The Toadflax potion unfinished bought for 4,884 GP, the bird nest bought for 180 GP, and the Saradomin Brew sold for 4,500 GP. If you were to make these potions without the portable well, each potion would result in a net loss of minus 654 GP per potion. If you're wondering why I'm multiplying the sale price of the Saradomin Brew by 0.98, it's to account for the 2% sale tax that is now in place at the Grand Exchange. This loss is not very appealing as a method for training, but what if we had the portable well effect and no Brooch of the Gods? Well, now each potion loses minus 429.5 GP. Now I'm multiplying our sale price of the Saradomin Brew by 1.05 because we're now producing 1.05 times more Saradomin Brews. This is better, but still not great. And what if we had the Brooch of the Gods? Well, if we had the Brooch of the Gods, our loss per potion would now be minus 213 GP, where you can see now I'm multiplying the sale price of the Saradomin Brew by 1.10 because the effect of our portable has been doubled. This is still a loss, but is 1/3 the loss you would incur without the Brooch of the Gods. Now, for Herblore in particular, there are extra boosts you can get, like the modified Botanist Mask, which grants an additional 5% chance to craft a double potion, and the Scroll of Cleansing, which grants a 10% chance to save a secondary ingredient. This changes our cost even more. With all of the boosts that you can think of for Herblore that help you to produce more items and save GP, we can actually turn making Saradomin Brews into a profitable endeavor of 24 GP per potion. This is great! And as an example, if you made 10,000 Saradomin Brews using the most inefficient method versus the most efficient method, the loss and gain in GP would be minus 6.54 mil versus plus 244k, which is a swing of 6.8 million GP. These differences can become much larger as well, especially when working with potions whose sale price is high and who have secondary ingredients with high prices. So, at the very least, we can see on one toy example how the Brooch of the Gods, in combination with other Herblore boosting items like the modified Botanist Mask and Scroll of Cleansing, can transform a Herblore training method, which would generally lose a lot of GP, into a method that profits a little bit of GP. The Brooch of the Gods portable skilling station boost is seen to be even more beneficial when the effect doesn't double produced resources, but instead saves raw resources. An example of this would be the effect on saving headless arrows and arrowheads when making arrows and fletching. The reason the effectiveness is amplified is because the effect of the portable skilling station can act multiple times on the saved resources. Consider making Dinarrows as an example. If I were to make 1,000 Dinarrows, which requires headless Dinarrows and sharp shell shards to make, with the portable fletching station and the Brooch of the Gods, I would expect to save 200 headless Dinarrows and 200 sharp shell shards. But now, I can use those 200 saved resources and make more Dinarrows, and the portable effect has a 20% chance of acting on those as well. So, from the second batch, I would expect to save 40 headless Dinarrows and 40 sharp shell shards, which can be used to produce more resources, again and again and again. In total, when you sum the infinite series of portable Fletcher effects, you can effectively make 1.25 arrows per set of raw materials, if you didn't have the Brooch of the Gods, this amplification would be smaller, and you would instead make 1.11111 finished arrows per set of raw materials with the portable fletcher alone. Let's look at how this shakes out for losses and profits when training fletching. The headless Dinarrows instant bought on the Grand Exchange for 2,900 GP, and the sharp shell shards used to tip the headless arrows instant bought for 1,670 GP. The finished Dinarrows sold for 3,819 GP. So, if we made Dinarrows without any boosts, we would lose minus 827 GP per arrow created. Now keep in mind, when training fletching this way, you make 15 arrows per action, and you make a lot of arrows very fast. So this loss per arrow is huge. If you had the portable effect, with no Brooch of the Gods, this would change your profit per arrow to minus 412 GP, which is still not very good at all, but half as much as we would lose without the portable fletcher. And if you had the Brooch of the Gods, we would actually switch from losing GP per arrow to gaining GP per arrow of plus 108 GP per arrow. Now, if you were to make 100,000 Dinarrows, the loss and gain from the most inefficient method to the most efficient method using the Brooch of the Gods would be from minus 83 million GP to plus 11 million GP, which is a swing of 94 million GP. Now, finding the optimal method for you, given your budget and current Grand Exchange prices, will require some testing, and you should always check instant buy and instant sell prices prior to buying a large amount of raw materials. Suffice it to say, however, we have established in 2 test cases how the Brooch of the Gods can change training methods that were originally a loss to training methods that are a gain in GP. The 2 examples shown were somewhat randomly chosen as well, and were not cherry-picked just to prove a point. The Brooch of the Gods turns many methods from a loss of GP to a gain in not only herblore and fletching, but also in crafting, and to a lesser extent, cooking. But if you're creative, and you can find good margins between buy and sell prices, you can find a method that gives you great XP while decreasing the amount of GP lost, or even better, turning the method into huge profit. The final point I want to make is this. Although I say at the beginning of this video that you should buy the Brooch of the Gods now, this item is not for everyone. If you have any inclination of pushing the artisan skills to 200 million XP, or pushing all of the artisan skills to virtual level 120, or even if you simply only want to push the artisan skills to 99 and 120 for herblore, this item should pay itself off easily and then some. However, if you are just a casual player, and you don't really have interest in getting 99 in the artisan skills, or 120 in herblore, then maybe spend your GP elsewhere. Although, sometimes casual players do turn into hardcore players, so it might be worth scooping up just in case. If you stayed until the end, I hope you enjoyed my video. Please leave a comment if you have anything to add, or have suggestions on other RuneScape topics to cover, and consider subscribing if you enjoy what I have to say. In any case, have a wonderful day, and do great things. Until next time.